Live from the news station, this is 7 News at 10.
If and when the Vatican is attacked by ISIS, which as everyone knows is ISIS's ultimate trophy, I can promise you that the Pope would have only wished and prayed that Donald Trump would have been president. Because it's true. It's true. Because this would not have happened.
A war of words tonight. Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump fires back at Pope Francis. This is after the pontiff questioned Trump's faith for wanting to build a wall between the United States and Mexico. You expect the candidates to be going at it at this point, just 2 days before the South Carolina primary, but this time the front runner taking hits from the Pope. We touched on that and the big issues you care about when I went one-on-one with Donald Trump.
For a religious leader to question a person's faith is disgraceful.
Donald Trump seemed to dial back his comments on the trail when we met in the 7 News studios. I asked him about the Pope, saying he's not a Christian.
If you build a wall, you can't build a wall and be a Christian. But then I immediately thought, I said, but the Vatican is a series of massive walls. So I think he's got a little bit of a tough statement there.
You talk a lot about national defense, making America stronger. How are you going to pay for it? Because military expansion is so expensive.
It is expensive, but first of all, we have to get the contractors and the kind of equipment that we want.
What about filling the vacant Supreme Court seat?
So, in theory, it should be the next president that's going to do it. I think he will appoint somebody. He should not be able to get it through.
On trade and job losses.
Carrier just moved there. Nabisco's moving their big plant. Ford Motor Company is moving there.
Yeah, but you're in a state that's bringing companies here.
No,
we
I know
got
that.
China bringing Volvo to South Carolina.
But you have to be careful because China may be bringing it, but if China keeps devaluing their currency, they'll be bringing them out.
Trump told us he won't cut your Social Security.
We're going to make our country rich again. We're going to save Social Security, but we're going to make our country rich again, and we're going to make our country great again.
And it's not pie in the sky.
Oh, no, it's going to be, it sounds strange. It's not even going to be that tough. It's not even going to be that tough.
Trump was not the only candidate willing to talk with me today. Marco Rubio, fresh off the endorsement announcement from Nikki Haley, agreed to sit down in a rare interview with the governor by his side. Why did you pick the senator versus Governor Bush?
We were thinking long and hard, but I think the main thing I knew was first and foremost, I'm a mom. So I wanted a president who was going to keep our country safe.
We have good people running for president.
Governor Nikki Haley did not wait it out. But last time she endorsed a presidential candidate, Mitt Romney, he dropped in the polls and lost the race. Do you think the endorsement will help you?
Sure, and that's why Governor Bush wanted her endorsement, and I respect Governor Bush. The bottom line is that Governor Haley isn't just respected in South Carolina, she's respected nationally. I mean, the leadership she's shown in the last year in the state has impressed people all over America. It's not just going to help us in South Carolina, it's going to help us across the country.
On Governor Haley's removal of the Confederate flag, do you support what South Carolina did with the flag?
I do, and I think it was important that the decision was made in South Carolina.
Can you pledge to those who are counting on Social Security that you won't cut their benefits?
Well, again, one of the reasons why I'm excited about having Governor Haley's support is her parents are on Social Security. My mom is on Social Security. We are both against any changes to that program that would be bad for our parents.
Now, there are more details on both candidates' positions in the full interviews that are posted on WSPA.com. And don't miss Donald Trump testing out his Southern y'all with me, and Governor Nikki Haley revealing the big stumble she took just before she endorsed Marco Rubio last night that left a huge bandage on her knee.
Governor Kasich, I think, is for the people. I know he's for the people.
I think we can all agree, whether we're Gamecocks or Tigers, that Marco Rubio should be our next president. Absolutely.
Campaign 2016 has become another issue in the USC-Clemson rivalry. You heard the big-time quarterbacks there giving their endorsements today. Former stars Taj Boyd from Clemson and Connor Shaw from USC are out stumping for their favorite candidates. Shaw says he's going to do everything he can to push Rubio's campaign to the next level, and Boyd is going to do the same for John Kasich. An emotional moment on the campaign trail with John Kasich has gone viral. It happened at a rally in Clemson. Listen to this.
Over a year ago, a man who was like my second dad, he killed himself. And then a few months later, my parents got a divorce. And then a few months later, my dad lost his job. And I was in a really dark place for a long time. I was pretty depressed. But I found hope, and I found it in the Lord and in my friends. And now I've found it in my presidential candidate that I support. And I'd really appreciate one of those hugs you've been talking about.
As you can see, Kasich gave him that hug. As some of you may know, Kasich's parents were killed by drunk drivers, and he says that moment changed him and made him become more devout. Meanwhile, Jeb Bush, who has been polling low, has put all of his eggs in South Carolina ahead of the Saturday primary. Today we caught up with him in Columbia. After an introduction from Lindsey Graham, Bush talked about key issues like education, terrorism, and relationships with allies. Tomorrow, Jeb Bush and his mother, Barbara Bush, are coming to town. They will be in Greenville, and other candidates will be making their 11th hour push too. Rubio will be speaking in Clemson. Kasich will be in Columbia. And of course, all of this is before the primary. The polls open at 7 a.m. on Saturday. And I should mention too that Bush and Barbara Bush will be in Spartanburg at Wade's at 9:30 tomorrow morning as well. Well, you've been telling us about your opinion in the upcoming primaries by participating in our exclusive 7 News online poll. Over 800 of you across the upstate have weighed in on this. And tonight, Donald Trump is holding a commanding lead with nearly 45% of those responding in our poll saying they intend to vote for him in Saturday's primary. That's a 20% lead over Marco Rubio, who came in as the choice of 22% of those in our poll. Ted Cruz follows in third place, 14%. Ben Carson, John Kasich, and Jeb Bush all are in single-digit percentages. Our poll reflects, of course, only the opinions of those who've taken the time to participate. So you can head to WSPA.com or the 7 News app. The poll will remain open until 4 o'clock Friday. So if you haven't weighed in yet, there's still plenty of time. We'll have final results for you tomorrow night right here on 7 News over on our sister station WSPA live at 5. The highest ranking African-American member of the House of Representatives is set to make his presidential endorsement. 2 people familiar with his thinking say Democrat Jim Clyburn will back Hillary Clinton for president. The endorsement will reportedly happen tomorrow at the historically African-American Allen University in Columbia. His endorsement could prove critical because that Democratic primary vote is coming up on February the 27th. Clinton received the endorsement of the Congressional Black Caucus last week.
We have mostly clear skies out there tonight, and with dry air in place, a steady drop in temperature is on the way. Check out what we can expect as we head into Friday. Tomorrow's Friday, Amy. Can you believe it? Okay, the upstate's going to start out around 33 degrees. Could be a few areas down to freezing in the upstate. The mountains down to 28 for a low. We have another beautiful day on the way, which means a milder afternoon. We'll talk more about that and what you can expect for the weekend coming up in a few minutes. And that's tonight's top stories and tomorrow morning's forecast in the first 10 minutes. Amy?
All right, Christy, thanks. Caught on camera, this tour helicopter crashes. You watch it happen here, leaving 3 people injured. We're going to tell you how they're doing tonight. And heart attack on the job. How this man was saved. The story's coming up tonight.